By 28, Vanessa Cole had everything a woman could dream of. A downtown Manhattan penthouse with a view that made gods jealous. An American Express black card with no spending limit. And a billionaire husband who loved her like she was made of glass and gold. Vanessa didn't just win at life, she rewrote it. She played hostess at champagne brunches, floated through fashion weeks in Paris, wore diamonds that once belonged to royalty. Everyone wanted to be her, or at least be near her. But sometimes, when the parties ended and the lights dimmed, she would stare into mirrors too long, as if waiting for something to blink back. Because Vanessa hadn't always been this woman. Once she was someone else entirely. There was a version of her that lived in a shoebox apartment surviving on instant noodles and unpaid rent notices. A version that worked double shifts in heels with broken soles, wondering if life had been rigged for someone else's dreams. And then there was Zara. They met in college. Zara was strange, brilliant, and impossible to ignore. While others studied business or design, Zara buried herself in books on quantum entanglement, metaphysics, and multiverse theory. She spoke of realities like rooms in a house. "You're stuck," Zara told her once. "You're in the wrong universe." Vanessa laughed. "Sure, and I can just pick another one?" "Yes," Zara replied. "You just need to find the version where you win and slip into it." It sounded like madness, and maybe it was. But years later, when Vanessa stood in her crumbling apartment, jobless, hopeless, broken, she remembered. That night, she lay in bed staring at the ceiling, whispering to the dark, "Take me to the version where I win." And the world shifted. She woke to silk sheets. The curtains were velvet. Her body felt leaner, her skin smoother. There was a diamond ring on her finger. And David Cole, her husband, brought her breakfast in bed. It wasn't a dream, it was a shift. She had crossed from one version of herself into another. And she didn't look back. She learned to travel sideways, not through time, but through lives. Like hallways in a hotel. Each version of herself slightly different. A failed artist, a politician's mistress. A junkie, a grieving mother. Version 6.4 was perfect. In this one, she was already Mrs. Vanessa Cole. She had the life, the body, the influence, the name, so she stayed. Even if it meant pushing the original Vanessa of that world aside. Even if it meant erasing her. But the multiverse isn't a gift shop. It notices when someone takes too much. It began with the mirrors. A crack here, a shimmer there. Sometimes her reflection didn't blink when she did. Sometimes it smiled too long. David started forgetting things. Her favorite color, her birthday, her name. He'd look at her like something was wrong, but couldn't say why. And at night, Vanessa would hear whispers. Behind closet doors, in the steam of the shower. Other versions of her, watching, waiting. Because every Vanessa wanted the crown, and some would cross universes to take it back. She had borrowed a life, and borrowed things must be returned. She started dreaming of lives that weren't hers. Vanessa in a motel bathroom, pills spilling from her hand. Vanessa screaming during childbirth, dying as the baby cried. Vanessa sitting alone in that first apartment, never finding her way out. She woke screaming. David held her. But even he felt like a stranger now. She tried to shift again, but the doors were closed. Like the universe had locked her in. Her penthouse began to feel colder. The lights dimmed even in the middle of the day. Black mold bloomed in perfect designer corners. One morning, she opened her jewelry drawer and found her old waitress name tag. Not a diamond, just rusted metal with peeling plastic, as if the universe was reminding her where she came from. She stared at it for a long time. Everything around her glowed with wealth and power. But inside, she felt hollow. All things have two sides. Every universe has a ledger. For every version that rises, another must fall. She thought she was clever, skipping through lives like stones across a pond. But balance always comes back to collect. One night, she stood before the mirror. The glass began to ripple. On the other side stood a different Vanessa, gaunt, furious, eyes filled with hunger and rage. The one she pushed out, the one who remembered. And as her world began to dim, as her husband's love became distant, as her own reflection refused to follow her movements, Vanessa realized she hadn't won. She had only delayed the loss. In a different world, in a crumbling apartment, a different Vanessa stood before her mirror. The glass rippled. She stepped forward. In the dark corners of the multiverse, every action echoes. The universe does not punish, it balances. And for one Vanessa to live a life of diamonds, Another must drown in the dark.